Shalom, shalom, everybody. Once again, you back with your brew. That's me, Ban Shemayim, and we back with another one. So, with this video, we're gonna continue from 2 weeks ago, where we went over true friends versus false friends, and we're gonna continue on that same path because this study today is called "Duties to Family and Friends," right? So this is where we going. Continuing with that, if y'all notice, I dropped this video last week. I had all three of these videos dropped last week. For whatever reason, my audio didn't work. With my back condition, I couldn't redo them. So I dropped the shorts, but I'm on it and I'm redoing it now. So without further ado, let's get into the scriptures. Okay, we're gonna start at 1 Peter 4 and 8, right? Matter of fact, let's start at 7, right? 1 Peter 4, and we'll start at 7. It says, "But the end of all things is at hand. Be ye therefore sober, and watch unto prayer. And above all things have fervent charity among yourselves. For charity shall cover the multitude of sins." You see that? So when it says our lesson plan is duties to family and friends, this is a duty, right? It says, "But the end of all things is at hand. Be therefore sober." Look, if you go to sober, to be of sound mind, to be temperate, right? So we went to the sophroneo, right? Sophroneo, right? To be of a sound mind. So this proves that it's not what we use sober in 2023 as, right? "But the end of all things is at hand. Be ye therefore sober, and watch unto prayer," right? "And above all things, have fervent charity among yourselves," right? So this is a duty that's required from us to each other, from family to friends, right? The church or the camp, the people, the individuals you love, right? "Above all things, have fervent charity among yourselves, for charity shall cover the multitude of sins. Use hospitality one to another without grudging. As every man hath received the gift, even so minister the same one to another," right? So as every man has received the gift. So as every man has received this knowledge, make sure you give it to somebody else, right? Even so, minister the same one to another. So we can't be getting upset when one person is trying to tell us something. What happens is a lot of people be so brand new into it and they haven't studied enough and they want to tell you about things that they haven't studied. That's why I always say stick to the things you have studied in depthly, right? "As good stewards of any manifold of the grace of God. If any man speak, let him speak as the oracles of God," right? So people will get mad because they like when you speak, when you're talking. Some people are going to get mad. Some people, especially in 2023, they're not going to be able to handle this. They're going to get mad at you. They're going to think, well, he's talking as if he knows everything. But this is what the Bible says, right? It says, "As every man have received the gift." So as you have received the knowledge, even so minister the same one to another. So as you have received the knowledge, this is your duty to go and minister that same knowledge to another person who don't know it, right? "As good stewards of the manifold grace of God," right? So this is what makes you a good steward of God, is for you to minister one to another of that same gift that you have received. This is how we learn. See, people want to cut it off and be like, "Well, I'm gonna only learn from myself," but sometimes another person talk to you, and this is how you learn. Sometimes you learn not just from reading or studying. Sometimes you learn from hearing. What 123J was saying this. What did he say? People listen but don't hear, right? They listen to what you're saying, but they're not hearing what you're saying, and that happens a lot. But this is what the Bible says, right? "Even so, minister the same one to another as good stewards of the manifold of the grace of God. If any man speak, let him speak as the oracles of God." So when you've studied a subject and you know what you're talking about, and people are mad because you're so firm, like as if you know this for a fact, That's what the oracles of God would have done. A saying, an oracle, of people who, like Matrix, the oracle in Matrix. She was able to tell Neo what was going to happen. Now, she was a weird oracle because she gave clues and didn't tell him exactly what would happen, right? But it says, if any man speak, let him speak as the oracles of God. That's with authority, knowing what's going to happen, right? Because that's what an oracle is, right? If any man minister, let him do it as of the ability which God giveth. So if any man minister, let him do it to the ability of which God giveth. So it's not for you, just do what you do. Because at the end of the day, they're gonna be judged by the words you say. And that's harsh. That's harsh. But they're gonna be judged by the words you said. And this is the duty we have towards one another, right? It said, let him do it. It says, if any man minister, let him do it, right? As of the ability which God giveth. So whatever ability which he has to minister, that God gave him to push that truth forward, let him go out and do it that way, right? That God in all things may be glorified through Yeshua Wamasiach, right? To whom be praise and dominion forever and ever. Amen. So the name of this lesson plan again is duties to family and friends. So these are duties that we have. And this is from Peter. Remember, Peter was the head of the church, the rock in which Christ, Yeshua, built the foundation to build upon. Now let's go into Job 42, and we're going to start at 10. And this is deep, because this is something you should also do for your family and friends. It's so crazy because there's so many fake friends. You have a friend who behind your back, they complaining about you and not praying for you. And that's how you know people just get caught up with their own battles with the devil, and the devil is making them be upset or be annoyed or be this or be that, when the devil just don't want them to succeed. It don't want what they got going on in their life to work out, their friendships, their relationships, whatever. So he's going to enter people's minds and attack them, right? But check this out. It says, and the Lord turned the captivity of Job when he prayed for his friends, right? It says, and the Lord turned the captivity of Job when he prayed for his friends. Pray for your friends. That's part of our duty, right? Also, the Lord gave Job twice as much as he had before, right? So this is part of our duty. Pray for your friends. Pray for your friends. Now let's go into John, and we're going to start at 13. John 15, we're going to start at 13, right? Or at 12, right? It says, this is my commandment, right? This is my commandment, that ye love one another as I have loved you, right? And how did Christ love the people? It's important to go over this because people get caught up with the love word, but how did Christ love the disciples? How did he love the people that he was here on earth for? He loved them and gave them mercy towards salvation. That's what he loved them towards. He loved them, he pushed them all towards being saved, making it to the kingdom. That was the way he showed his love, right? By dying for them, and by his whole life was a sacrifice for them to be able to make it to the kingdom, right? It says, greater love hath no man than this, that a man lay down his life for his friends, right? So what did we just say? He died for him, right? He laid down his life for his friends. So these are duties we have, to lose our own lives to better somebody else. These are our own duties, right? Ye are my friends, right? If ye do whatsoever I command you, henceforth I call you not servants, for the servant knoweth not what his Lord doeth. But I have called you friends, for all the things that I have heard of my Father I have made known unto you. See, so he made all things known in that we could be righteous to make it into the kingdom. He laid down his life and made all things known unto us that he knew, so that we would have a chance to make it into the kingdom, right? It says, ye have not chosen me, but I have chosen you and ordained you that ye should go and bring forth fruit, and that your fruit should remain, that whatsoever ye ask of the Father in my name, he may give it to you. These things I command you, that ye love one another, right? And this goes back to the law. You don't know how to love each other without the law. And without the law, love is just your feelings. This is how I feel like I'm not being loved. I feel like you're against me. And see, the law has a strict outline of what would be going against somebody, right? What would be unlawful, unrighteous, and what is righteous. And those righteous acts that the law has in it, of which we are supposed to deal with each other, those righteous acts are how we love each other. So once again, let's go over this. This lesson plan is called Duties to Family and Friends. Now we're going to hit this scripture, which is Proverbs 27. And we're going to start at okay, we're going to start at 7. Let's just start at 7. Proverbs 27 and 7. It says, the fool soul loatheth, I'm sorry. The fool soul loatheth a honeycomb and honeycomb, right? But to the hungry soul, every bitter thing is sweet, right? So the fool soul loatheth the honeycomb, right? To tread down and trample, you step on it. It's worthless to him. It don't mean much, right? But to the hungry soul, every bitter thing is sweet, right? So to the hungry soul, everything that he could get in him is good, right? It says, as a bird that wandereth from her nest, so is a man that wandereth from his place, right? So like when the bird goes off from the nest to go get food, to go get whatever, it says, so is the man that wandereth from his place, the place in which God placed you, right? Ointment and perfume rejoice the heart. So doeth the sweetness of a man's friend by hearty counsel, right? So these are the duties of being a friend, right? A man's friend by hearty counsel, right? A soul, living being, life, self, person, desire, passionate, appetite, emotion, nephesh, right? Counsel, advice. So hearty counsel. So counsel about your soul or living being or life or self or person or desire or passion or appetite or emotion that you're feeling, right? Ointment and perfume rejoice the heart, so doeth the sweetness of a man's friend, right? Friend, companion, fellow, by hearty counsel. Thine own friend and thy father's friend forsake not, right? So our duties to our friends and our father's friends, our people's friends, is to forsake them not, right? Neither go into thy brother's house in the day of calamity, right? Distress, into the day of distress. So when everything's right, why is it going to say that? Let's break it down first. It says, for better is a neighbor that is near than a brother that is far off. Because if you got your neighbor or your friend right next to you, that's who you should not forsake. That's who you should go and band together. Why would you go far off to your brother's house and you got a neighbor right next to it, right? Thine own friend and thy father's friend forsake not, right? So don't forsake these people. Neither go into thy brother's house in the day of calamity, right? In the day of distress, for it is better. It for better is a neighbor that is near than a brother that is far off. And this is the problem. We won't set up these bonds. A lot of people allow Satan to make them not trust and hate everybody, and that's ungodly. If you don't trust nobody and you hate everybody, that's ungodly. That's ungodly, because at the end of the day, in the time of our calamity, we're going to need people to lean on. So the duty of man, right, is for you to have these friends, to know how to treat these friends, to know how to treat these men and women, right? To know how to treat your friends, know how to treat your spouses according to the Bible, to know how to treat your family according to the Bible, right? Everybody to know their role in an orderly manner, right? And this is going to be the last scripture of the day, which is This is Ecclesiasticus 28, or no, we're going to start at Ecclesiasticus chapter 7, verse 18, right? And it says, change not a friend for any good by no means, right? Dealing with, once again, let's go over this: duties to family and friends. We just heard literally almost the same thing right here, right? Thine own friend and thy father's friend forsake not, right? So your friend and your father's friend forsake not. And what does this say? Change not a friend for any good by no means, neither a faithful brother for the gold of Ophir. So if you have a friend or you have a brother, you don't trade them for the gold of Ophir. You don't trade them for nobody, for nothing, right? It says for any good by no means. So for nothing, for to nobody for nothing, right? Change not a friend for any good by no means, neither a faithful brother for the gold of Ophir. Forgo not a wise and good woman, for her grace is above gold. Right? So forego not a wise and good woman, for her grace is above gold. A wise and good woman, right? And good means pertaining to how she would be lawfully towards her duties, right? Forgo not a wise and good woman, for her grace is above gold. See, but nowadays we get a lot of not wise, unwise, and ungood women. Same with the men, right? But check this out. It says, forgo not a wise and good woman, for her grace is above gold. So this lesson is duty to family and friends. So if you have a wife, she's wise and good, for forgo or not, right? It says, whereas thy servant worketh truly. So if you got a person who you work with or work for you and they work truly, they work hard, right? Entreat him not evil, right? Don't do evil to the person you got working for you, doing things for you, right? Nor the hireling that bestoweth himself wholly for thee, right? So holy means to be full. So the hireling, that is the person you hired, that is fully putting himself under you, right? Don't entreat these people with evil, right? Let thy soul love a good servant, right? That's how you should treat them. Let thy soul, your soul should love this good servant, and defraud him not of liberty. It says, hast thou cattle? Have an eye to them, and even they be for thy profit. Keep them with thee, right? Has thou cattle? So do you got some cattle? Have an eye to them, and if they be for thy profit, keep them with thee, right? So if you got cattle, have an eye to them, keep an eye over them, watch them. This is your merchandise, how you eat, is how you survive, right? And if they be for thy profit, keep them with thee, right? Keep them with thee. If the animal be for your profit, you would keep the animal with you. Same for your friends, same for your worker, same for your servant. You have an eye for them, so you keep an eye out for them. You look out for them. You seeing what's going on in their life. You're caring. And if they be for thy profit, keep them with thee. Don't let them go, right? Hast thou children? Instruct them. That's the job of a parent. Teach your child, right? Has thou children? Instruct them and bow down their neck from their youth. And it's so crazy because people always say, like, well, if you don't have kids, you can't really talk about raising or knowing anything about kids and knowing, and that's like bull craps. Let me break it down to how. Because there are teachers who haven't had children and were more parents, and gave more information and knowledge and helped children out more than their parents did. Then let's go into the adoption system or the foster care system. Not the ones that's making the money, but the ones who like literally couldn't have children and they adopted 5, 6 kids. Normally those kids grow up with great lives and end up talking about how great of parents these people were. How they had, achieved all these things because of their parents. Look at, I mean, anything from football players to scientists to all different type of people go through hard things when they're younger and get adopted or put into somebody's care who actually was a good parent to them, who actually did what their parent was supposed to, right? Has thou a child, instruct them and bow their neck from their youth, right? So make them follow your rules from their youth, right? Not meaning that the foster parent got to beat or abuse the child, because that wouldn't mean that they were doing what they were supposed to do. But it says, "Has thy children, instruct them, and bow down their neck from their youth." Right? So make them bow down their neck. If you ever notice a dominant dog is gonna get over the other dog, and like once they figure out who's the dominant dog, that other dog will lower his head. I used to watch this happen between my two dogs. My one dog would come and the other dog would lower her head almost to the floor. Who is blowing up my phone? Sorry about this, y'all. Dang, I can't even get over there and get it. But it's somebody. It must be. It's probably not important, man. Because I don't see nobody name popping up. Dang. Probably a waste of time. That's crazy, bro. Sorry about that, y'all. Shoot. Sorry about y'all. That was Honda Houston. It's so crazy when I was looking for a car. Them dudes, when you go up there to get a car, to look at a car and they don't have it. I know this way off topic, but now that I found a car now, got a car now, all these places blowing me up 3-4 times a day. It don't make no sense. Okay, so let's continue where we was, right? Has thou children, instruct them and bow down their neck from their youth. So that's put them under you. Like I was saying, my dog used to go over my other dog, and my other dog would either put her head down or she would just roll over on the ground and let him put his head over hers. But him, he would never allow her to stand over him or put her head over him, because then he would go after her and like try to, rough her up, let her know, look, I'm the big dog, I'm the boss dog. This is kind of what it's saying, right? Has thou children, instruct them and bow down their neck from their youth. You have to make them bow down to your rules and your orders from their youth, not you bow down to their rules and their order, but you make them under your rules and your order, right? It says, "How hast thou daughters? Have a care of their body," right? Have a care of their body, and show not thyself cheerful toward them, right? So has thy daughters, have a care of their body. So care about what happens to their body, what happens to them, their safety, who you give them to, right? If you give your daughter to another man, or when you get married, the father walks the daughter down and gives her away. Or so this is kind of saying, when you give your daughter away, are you giving her to somebody where they are going to take care of her body? Are they going to protect her, right? Because you're going to protect her. You're going to make sure that not one hair is harmed on her head if you could control it, right? So as thou daughters, have a care of their body, and show not thyself cheerful toward them, right? Marry thy daughter, and so shalt thou have performed a weighty matter. Like I was saying, have care of their body. Once again, this is similar. Marry thy daughter, right? So marry thy daughter off to somebody, and so shalt thou have performed a weighty matter, right? So you performed a great thing, a heavy thing in life, because this is important about how to care for her body, who's going to protect her next, right? But give her to a man of understanding, right? Give her to somebody who's going to understand. Hast thou a wife after thy mind? That's a big thing. Has thou a wife after thy mind? Do you got a wife on the same wave path as yours? And in 2023, the devil tries hard to break this down in relationships and in life, right? But it says, "Hast thou a wife after thy mind? Forsake her not, but give thyself over." It says, but give not thyself over to a light woman, right? So hast thou a wife after thy mind. So if you got a wife on the same brain pattern, on the same wave as you, knowing her order, doing everything, forsake her not. But give not thyself over to a light woman, a woman that has no weight, a woman that has no substance. You just with this woman for or a minute. You wouldn't planning on being with this woman. Y'all wasn't on that. What is this? Y'all didn't have the same. She wasn't after your mind, right? It says, honor thy father with thy whole heart and forget not the sorrows of thy mother, right? It says, honor thy father with thy whole heart and forget not the sorrows of thy mother. Remember, these are the duties to our families and friends, right? Honor thy mother with thy whole heart, or honor thy father with thy whole heart, and forget not the sorrows of thy mother. Me and somebody was just talking about this. Me and Jay was just talking about this, about how, I'm not gonna mention no names, but somebody had a problem with their mother, I guess, because they were a Gentile, right? But this is what it says. It says, honor thy father with thy whole heart and forget not the sorrows of thy mother. Check what 28 says out, though. It says, remember that thou wast begotten of them. You would not be here if it wasn't for your mother and your dad. Period. See, in America, in the world, we like to play these games. Now the baby come from the mom. It's the mom. It's the mom. It's the no. What did the Bible say? It says, remember that thou wast begotten of them. It's three entities that create a baby. It's the father, it's the mother, and it's the spirit that God puts in the baby and the will of God to perform the action for that baby to be born, right? Those are the three entities that create a baby, right? So it says, remember that thou wast begotten of them, and how canst thou recompense them the things that they have done for thee? So could you give them back life? They brought you into the world. Without your father's seed and your mother's egg and God putting a spirit, you would not have life. So could you give them life? When if your mom was reaching a certain age or was sick or whatever the case was, could you go back to her and breathe life into her? No, right? So you can't do the things that they have done for you. You can't repay them for what they did. It says the best way you can repay them is to honor thy father with thy whole heart and forget not the sorrows of thy mother, right? So that's how you repay them, right? Remember that thou wast begotten of them, and how canst thou recompense them the things that they have done for thee, right? You can't recompense them. How could you pay them back for you getting life, right? It says, fear the Lord with all thy soul and reverence his priests, right? Love him that made thee with all thy strength, right? Because once again, this goes into the three entities. Like it says, the father and thy mother, right? Honor thy father with thy whole heart and forget not the sorrows of thy mother. Remember that thou wast begotten of them, and how canst thou recompense them the things that they have done for thee? You can't give them back life, the life that they gave you. You can't repay, you can't do with them for them what they could do, what they did for you, right? It says, fear the Lord with all thy soul and reverence his priests. And why did I say that God was the third entity? Check this out. Love him that made thee with all thy strength and forsake not his ministers. So that proves that it's the three entities that created. And these are the duties that we have to uphold to our family and to our friends. And on that note, I want to thank y'all for tuning in to this video. I want to say, if you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe. If you have subscribed, thank you for subscribing, and thank you for continuing to watch and support this channel and take this information. And I would like for y'all to comment, hit the like button and comment. Let's hop into the comments and talk. Now, I've been taking time off from the comments, especially when I don't feel good with my back, because when you go through pain, sometimes it makes you more irritable. So the response you would give is not you didn't fully think it out and give the best response. You thinking it out, but you're not fully giving the best response. So you could read something and think, oh man, these people don't be knowing nothing. They always trying to, and you not really putting yourself in a position to understand, well, this person might only been studying for 2 years. Maybe they didn't read this book. Maybe they didn't read that book. And you don't give that mercy and grace to them. So I've been taking a little time from the comments to make sure when I do come to the comments, I answer the comments with the most upright and up forth respect and honor, because I do appreciate the people tuning in and swapping knowledge with me, and I don't want to go against anybody. But on that note, I just want to say Thawada, which means thank you for tuning in, or thank you, and thank Thawada for tuning in. Kaula Haya by Shimei Shire, which is all praises to the Most High in the name of His Son. And I want to say, Barakatah. And that's bless you to everybody who tuning in. Barakatah and Shalom. That is peaceful greetings. Barakatah. Into the next video. Peace out.